Hi, today we're in Tilting with Penton Dwyer, and today we're going to be talking about blood puddings, and Christine is going to show us how to make blood puddings.
Okay.
But before we start, can you tell me a little background of the whole blood pudding tradition?
Fogo Island, Jobbett's Arm I grew up in, we always had blood pudding for Christmas. And I guess it was because in the fall of the year, everybody kept pigs. So they saved the blood from the pigs when they butchered them, and then they'd have blood. So that would be the only time we would get them for Christmas. And then the blood would be distributed throughout the neighbors who didn't have a pig.
Okay.
So then everybody made blood puddings, and it was a Christmas tradition. It seemed like it wasn't Christmas without blood. And it was very simple to make because everybody had bread, and what people would do back then, because they made their own bread, so they would save the heels of the bread.
Okay, so it's like your stale bread.
Like your stale, yes, stale bread is much better.
Yeah.
And they'd save up the stale bread, and it wouldn't take them long to because they, you know, big families, they always had lots of crusts or heels left, and they'd save them and make it. So it would be just the spices, which everybody had, and a fatback pork, which was a staple in every community as well. Everybody had fatback pork, and onions. And so it was very easy to make.
And this was something your mom made and your grandmother made?
My grandmother made them, my mom made them, and I make them now. First of all, you need 2 bowls, and you need bread. And it doesn't make any difference what kind of bread you have. And we'll fill up this pan full of cold water, and then what we do is we'll soak the bread, we'll squeeze the water out, and we'll put it in there. And it's something you can't do ahead of time because the bread, we don't want it to be too mushy.
Yeah, so you can't soak that for too long.
Too long, no, it's just...
So you don't have to tear the bread off?
No, I just put it in like that, and by the time you get it all in, what you put in first will be ready.
Maybe just tip it a little bit, and you can see, so it's just in our hole.
Yeah, into a hole, and so then we just take it and we just squeeze the water out of it, like that.
Yep, so it's literally just squeezed out bread. So what kind of molds do you use? And I know some people use tin cans, don't they?
I use my pudding molds.
Okay, so you
Which are these?
here.
Yes.
Yeah. And do some people use cans, like
old
tin
yes,
cans?
you can use cans, you can use a stainless steel bowl.
Crunch it off.
Yes. And make sure it's scrunched up good.
Okay.
See. Yeah, it's just...
So roughly about how much?
About a cup.
About a cup of onion?
Yes.
Finely minced.
Finely minced onion, and because you don't want big pieces of onion in the when you're eating it, you don't want to come up with a big piece of onion. So some people chop it really fine, but I always use this little gadget because I find it really good. That's fatback pork.
About a cup of
that.
A
cup of that, a cup of onion, and a cup of pork, and this will be sufficient. And you cut it out again. You don't want to see a big blob
chunk. Yeah.
You want nice.
So you're cutting it up kind of the size of scrunchions almost.
Yes. Yeah. And this is pepper, just regular black pepper.
And roughly about
a teaspoon.
A big teaspoon.
A big teaspoon. I'm always yes. Yes, Andrea.
One for good luck.
One for good luck.
1 teaspoon and 1 for good luck.
Now this is allspice. So we do 3 teaspoons of allspice. And allspice is the thing that preserves it. As you know, spice is a preservative, right? And this is cloves. 1 teaspoon of cloves. Cloves is a little darker than the spice, so you won't know it.
So kind of like your Christmas spices, some of your Christmas spices.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Now, we're going to make sure that's how it goes in there too.
It's almost like consistency, look like a wet dressing.
Yes, yes, very much. It's even going to be wetter now, but the blood will set it. Now,
Okay.
we're ready for the good stuff.
Now, I want to ask you too about the blood.
The blood.
So right now, traditionally you get it when you slaughter the animals in
Right.
fall.
Yes.
So now where do you get your blood?
We get the blood from the it comes from a butcher shop.
Yeah.
From St. John's, really.
Mm-hmm.
And so we buy it at the local store.
The store here carries
The
it.
store here carries it because as people around the middle of December, they'll phone down to the store, early store, and they'll say, "Have you got your blood in yet?" And they'll come from different parts of the island. They'll come and buy 6 containers or 8 containers. Perhaps they're buying them for their neighbours, but they will.
So is Hurley's the only place on the island now that carries blood?
As far as I know, yes. And we want 1 cup of blood. So that's about, there you go, that's a cup of blood. Now, and we just pour it in. And now is the fun.
That's the fun part.
That's the fun part. Now we don't want to see any white, you know,
Okay,
like
you're
we
gonna
want
mix
to
it through really well.
really well. We're going to make sure that everything gets incorporated.
And tip that up one more time to show.
Yeah.
So you're mixing it through
So
really
that,
well.
yes, so that and if there's any big pieces of bread left, we'll squish it up.
So people, well, I guess you say most people will eat this over Christmas. There'll be none left. But if
Yes.
But if you wanted to keep it, how would you keep it?
You can freeze it. It
Okay.
is freezable. Yeah. Now I'm going to turn on my pots on maximum. I have water in the pots and I have a rack
In the bottom.
in the bottom. A rack in the bottom of the pot, so that it
It gives that space between.
it gives it the space to and then I take my molds. These are the better things because you're sure that the water don't get in. We have to grease them. You can grease them in any way you want, but I just use pan. Looks like chocolate cake. And now we're going to, of course, and we don't want to put too much in them because, you know, as they cook, they'll
Expand a bit.
they expand, and then when you take them out, they will
Shrink down.
Shrink down again.
So how much room do you leave at the top?
I'll
then,
use a
say?
bit of space at the top. No,
So
a
say-
lot,
Maybe about an inch.
but that much.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is to that.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah, about an inch, I guess.
Yeah, about an inch. You want to leave a little bit of space, but with the cover and securely with those, they, you know, they'll only go as high as that.
They won't spill out.
They won't spill out. Now I got a bit left over, so I'll just get one of my stainless steel bowls and just
Put it in that.
just put it in there.
With wax paper on top?
No,
or-
no. Yeah, oh yeah, I'll put the foil on
Foil.
top.
So these, then you'll put the tops on. You put them in boiling water for about.
About 2.5 hours. If I had a bigger mold, I'd probably do go 3. But 2.5 is mostly for these. It's not carved in stone kind of thing.
And then when it comes time to eat them, how do people prepare them when they're eating them?
When they let them cool down just a little bit, or you can eat them just as they are. You fry them. You slice them and fry them, like you would bologna or something
Okay.
like that. You
So once you got your water boiling,
Yes, you take your and you pop it down.
now would that be on a continuous boil or do you turn it back?
Okay, I got a little bit too much water there for that one. So what I'll do is because you want it up, not too over it, but pretty much. Well, I'll let it come back to a boil.
Okay, not right up over the cover.
Not right up over the cover, no. And see, it's boiling pretty good. I'll put the cover on.
Yeah.
And it's 106, so I'll turn it down just a bit. Now this one is going to take a little more water.
So you leave it then on kind of a high medium heat?
On a medium heat, just as long as it's boiling. And you check it every so often to make sure that the water level is maintained. Because if it goes down, then you don't get the same.
So then you just boil the kettle and put some hot water.
I just boil the kettle and add to it. They've been steaming for about 3 hours, and they're fully cooked. And now we're just going to let them sit for a while because they're a little bit jiggly right now. They have to set. As they cool, they will set better. So we'll just let them set for a few minutes, and then we'll just flip them out on the breaks. There we go.